Go over. Yep, there we go. The goal of today is to go over our updates to the Supporting Partners program. We're excited about it this year, and we just got a couple of new things we want to talk to you about. And then we're also going to go over the actual 2024 Green Lease Leaders application process, because there's just a couple of new things with that too, and answer your questions. So, and we are going to be monitoring the chat, so feel free to enter any questions you have throughout, and we'll address as we can, either along the way or for sure at the end. All right, so meet your Green Lease Leaders team. If you haven't met us, this is the squad that works on Green Lease Leaders. And we represent both IMT and the Department of Energy. We're excited here in the 10th year to partner with the DOE on this program. So I'm Marla Thalheimer, Senior Director of Business Engagement, and I'm joined by Ella Wetletson, who is a Manager of Business Engagement here at IMT. And together we're going to be taking you through the information today. And just a quick mention, some of you may know Diana Lee and have been in touch with her, and she does oversee this program, and she will be returning from maternity in early January. So we miss her, and we'll be excited to have her back in January, but just wanted to make sure you knew where she was. All right, so we're going to jump in. We've slightly revised the supporting partner program for this year. One of the reasons is because it's a special year. It's the 10th year of Green Lease Leaders. It's hard to believe. So 10 years, and we're super excited to grow this program and to continue that growth this year in the 10th year, especially with the help of you as our supporting partners. So the purpose of the supporting partner program is to really engage those organizations who may not be eligible to be a Green Lease Leader themselves, industry organizations, consultants, that kind of thing. But you guys are able to promote green leasing. We all know how valuable the green leasing work is and how important it is to move the needle for both tenants, landlords, and brokers, and leasing teams and property teams in order to meet ESG goals and building performance requirements. So we really want to work with you and engage with you guys in order to, continue to partner on getting people to become Green Lease Leaders. All right, so here's what you do. If you're interested in becoming a supporting partner, we're going to ask you to fill out an interest form. Now, while there's a link on the screen, obviously you'll get later, and I think Ella may drop a link into the chat, but it's super easy. You just go to our website and you will find the link to become, to fill out for a supporting partner there. And when you're filling that out, we are going to ask you to choose a level of commitment, which we're going to go over that in just a moment. But I also want to point out, if you're already a supporting partner, hopefully you've received an email to notify you that we have this update and ask you to choose a level of commitment, so you don't have to fill out the form again. And if you have any questions about that, you can reach out to LRI and we'll help you through that. But once you confirm your level of commitment, you'll receive a package of materials that are going to support your promotion of the Green Lease Leaders program and throughout the cycle. Our goal is to make this easy for you, and so we will give you all the information, and you can tweak it and put it in your language, but we'll hand you a toolkit that will make it super simple for you to help promote. And then we'll look at this when we look at our timeline, but we will ask you just to provide some evidence of how you promoted the Green Lease Leaders program in February of 2024 before we close out the program. So I think it's, pretty simple, but now we want to go over and talk about the responsibilities. Like what is it we're asking you to do exactly here? And so I said, this is all about promotion of this program. And we do have these new levels this time though. First, I want to talk about these buckets, right? There's 3 buckets of responsibilities. And we have this sort of minimum number of referrals. And hopefully this is clear, but I want to, again, answer any questions about this. All we're looking for here is just to say, how far, how many people, can you send this to, in an email blast or a newsletter, that kind of thing. And I know for some of you, especially some of your industry organizations, like, you have hundreds of people on your e-blast. So that's a simple thing. But for others, it's a little bit different, especially if you're a consultant, like maybe you don't have a newsletter type of situation. So, are you working with your clients actually, to refer them and to bring them into the program? So that's the kind of referrals that we're talking about here. And then the second bucket, it's a pretty easy one. It's a minimum number of social media posts. That's easy enough, right? And again, we'll provide you templates that you can put on LinkedIn or X, formerly known as Twitter. Again, you can tweak to make your own, but it's just, putting it out there, and it's the same across the board. It's just 3 social media posts at a minimum. You can do more than 3. We would be happy for that. And we'll just send you, again, the templates to make it super simple for you. And then the last one is a minimum number of direct engagement or additional promotion. And so when we talk about direct engagement, like this can include like a personal email to a potential Green Lease Leaders applicant, like, hey, X company, we know you do this and you're a leader in this industry. Have you ever thought about Green Lease Leaders? It's a great program, that kind of thing. Or, additional promotion could include, mentioning Green Lease Leaders, at a webinar or at a conference session that you're having. So, and we know you guys can get creative out there in the different ways, that you're connecting with your clients, with your members. So we just sort of have these as a basis to at least have a minimum number of things, ways for you to share. And then one last quick thing I wanted to mention for consultants in the room, you could actually also host a Green Lease Leaders educational session, maybe for your clients to help fulfill this responsibility. We just want to, again, get the word out to as many of the, especially people that are doing this already. Like, we really want them to get in there and fill out the application this year. So we can, again, have our 10th year be our biggest year ever. There's some other, we want to make sure it's clear on kind of, the benefits for doing this from your side. So I'm gonna let Ella jump in here and talk about some of the benefits for you.
Yeah, thanks, Marla. So here we have just a brief list of some of the benefits that you would receive by being a supporting partner. So one of those is having your company be recognized as a Green Lease Leader and expert. So you would receive an official supporting partner, Green Lease Leaders logo. You could place that on your website or your marketing materials, but that would really identify you as understanding green leasing practices, especially for clients or members who are going through cities with those building performance standards. Green leasing is becoming so much more critical to effective operations. So this would really give you some of that credibility. We also do a logo placement on the Green Lease Leaders website. So you might have seen our supporting partners page on our Green Lease Leaders website, but we love to host all of the supporting partners there and really show everyone who they can go to if they want some of that extra support or know that they're a trusted resource as well for green leasing. Also, we have an annual Department of Energy Better Building Summit where Green Lease Leaders and supporting partners are announced every year. So this summit has around 400 attendees and is a great time to really show your company's expertise, and we want to make sure that you are recognized for that there. We also have a happy hour invitation that while we're at the Better Building Summit, you would be invited to that. You would be able to network with the other Green Lease Leader awardees. And then as well, you might have some invites to potential workshops, webinars, and case studies. So really trying to make this a beneficial relationship. And feel free, if you have any questions, drop those in the chat. While we're talking about some of the updates, let's talk about how will IMT support you. Marla's talked a little bit about some of those toolkits that we'll provide you with the social media language. And here we just have some more bullet points on what that looks like, the email templates, a package of case studies if you'd like, performance-based leasing resources that you can offer to your members or clients. Really, we are wanting to make sure that you are experts in this and that you feel really confident in your ability to support the program as well as support green leasing and our field of getting to more high performance buildings. So we're also available to answer any questions that come up. Now I'll pass it back to Marla to talk about some of those upcoming events and key dates that you can share with your members, clients, partners.
Yeah, so these are the rough timeline for you. And while there's very specific dates on here within these months, like for instance, October 2nd announced that on social media, the application is open. Obviously, we're past October 2nd. And that's all good. It's these dates, the specific dates are meant to be just kind of general guidelines. So, like around this time, it'd be great for you to again, send out a social media. Again, once you confirm that you're going to be a partner and your level, get that social media application out, social media announcement out. And then, you're welcome to share this recording. In January, again, we kind of have some things, along the way that we would love your help with, and we'll also send you a reminder, but, again, do that second share in January, that as a reminder, that, this is happening. And then, same thing in February, when we close the portal on February 16th. So, we kind of want to do that last call sort of thing for applicants. And then I have the February 19th bolded here in the slide. This is the one date. So just make a note of this one. This is the hard date. So by February 19th, this is when we'll ask for the supporting partners to provide the evidence of kind of what you did along the way to help us promote Green Lease Leaders. And then, of course, then the last in March, we'll have, we've got on the 27th, it's actually early April. It's the 1st of April. We just confirmed that. So we'll have the Green Lease Leaders workshop and celebration the first week of April. So you can stay tuned for more about that. All right, so now that we've covered updates to the Supporting Partners program, I don't see any questions in the chat. Again, we'll still have time for questions a little bit later, but again, don't hesitate to drop any questions in. But we thought it would make sense just to do a quick overview of the just the few kind of tweaks that we made to the Green Lease Leaders application process for this year. After this, there's also today the official kickoff webinar following this session. So you're welcome to, if you prefer to attend that session, you can jump off now, or you can get it all now and you'll be done. But just want to, go over some of those few things so you can, again, understand some of the things that we've done to update the program for this year. So Ella, why don't you tell them all about the process for this year?
Yeah, well, as Marla said, this is a 10-year anniversary for the Green Lease Leaders program, and we actually started in 2014 with DOE and IMT forming a partnership. And really the goal of the program is to set a national standard for green leasing and promote best practices for other companies to adopt these practices. So the recognition is valid for 3 years. That's a question we get a lot of times, and I'm sure you'll get from your members and partners and clients of, if I was awarded last year, do I have to reapply? Well, you are encouraged to apply if you want to get that next tier of recognition, which you can kind of see on the screen, and I'll go over that in a second of what the different levels are. But the recognition is valid for 3 years, so there's no need to reapply if you do not want to. So there are also 3 application types: the landlord, the tenant, and the teams. And the goal of that is really to apply with what your ownership structure is or how you are using buildings. The purpose of the teams application actually is that it is a single transaction where multiple parties are coming together to accomplish green leasing. So this is where a tenant and a landlord could involve their broker, they could involve their property manager, and they could apply as a team to get awarded for that great collaborative effort on a transaction. So within each of those application types, there on the screen, as you can see, 3 different levels of recognition. Really, the silver level is showing the foundational green leasing practices are integrated across your company. The second one is gold, so that is really to recognize the execution of your green leases. So we are looking for an executed lease in that application type. And then for platinum, we're recognizing above the environmental and efficient leasing operations, but into how is the building interact with the outside world? What does the resilience look like? What's the social impact look like? What is the diversity and equity impacts that the company is making? And how does that relate to the building? So we're really looking for above and beyond in platinum. And we definitely encourage anyone you are working with to go all the way for platinum. And if you have some questions about where is the lease currently at, what would our programs or policies fit into, we actually have a lease audit tool on our website, greenleaseleaders.com. You can just search in our resources, little box, and type in lease audit tool. And that's a really helpful way for you to put in some of those clients or members' best practices and see what level they might match up with and then where they could grow in the future. Next, I'm going to talk about some of those updated resources for everyone. So our 2 reference guides are really the main resources that you use to understand what the credits and prerequisite requirements are for the program. So that is the end-all be-all resource for this application cycle. And really, we added some more answers to frequently asked questions that we got from the last application cycle. So some questions looked like, what is a corporate policy? What would count for that? Or maybe different leasing situations. So if you're triple net or you're multifamily and you feel like this credit doesn't really work for me, well, here's some new guidance that we've added in the reference guides for your specific situations. We also have some updates to the platinum credits, and it's really minor. It's just splitting up credit 13 and credit 10 from the landlord and tenant reference guides, and it's the split is really just to clarify and have that be more achievable. So provide some extra guidance, some more examples, and just kind of split those out. And then lastly, we have an update to the tenant prerequisite. So there's just some additional elements added to the minimum efficiency fit out. And feel free, if you have questions about those changes, reach out to us. Or look in the reference guide. There's more details and kind of more explanation than what I'm able to give you today. So here's our workbook preview. This is another new resource for the for this 2024 application cycle. It's a free resource that we're hosting on the Green Lease Leaders website this year, and it's an Excel-based workbook. The goal is really to enable applicants, and if you're working on behalf of applicants, to help you better organize and see at a high level what the credits are, what the documentation requirements are, and then making sure you're hitting those minimum credits required and then prerequisites. So this is a brand new resource, and we developed it after just receiving a lot of feedback from people on how to best organize or how to best select. So please do use this tool. You can also find it through our resources box, kind of like I mentioned with the lease audit tool. And the best way to use it is also alongside the reference guide. So the reference guide will give you those in-depth understanding and explanation of credits, and then the workbook is really to help you organize and see it at the high level.
Anytime you put an Excel document on the screen in PowerPoint, it looks like a lot. But I promise you, this is a super helpful tool. This is not something we need to see with your application. It's just strictly to help you go, okay, check. I think I can do, or help your clients, or kind of develop your roadmap for what you want to go after, and will that help you meet the credit? So we love feedback from it, but we think it's going to really help people understand and be very clear about the credits that they're going to be able to go after for this year.
Yeah. So I also wanted to highlight the new Teams Excel workbook, and just to mention as well, there's a landlord specific workbook, there's a tenant workbook, and then there's a Teams workbook. And this is really our primary Teams specific resource. It's kind of an under known aspect of the Green Lease Leaders program, that there even is a Teams application type. But really the team application and the workbook here are trying to better show how that works. So there are cases where landlords and tenants are doing some of the same things, and you can get that credit here, and you can just kind of go along the screen, see where those are matching up from either the landlord side or the tenant side, and then kind of rank those all together.
I just mentioned too, real quick, the team application is great for like brokers who may be helping a landlord and a tenant do this, or again, so there's like different parties involved, or property management companies that are helping to facilitate this transaction. So and again, if you have any questions about, is this a team or is that, but it's really just, we think there's a lot of possibility in the Teams applications to really kind of capture some of those, some of the effort out there to create these win-win outcomes in a leasing situation. So that's what the whole Teams application is designed to do. And we're hoping that having the credits laid out in this way makes it a little bit easier to understand, since we don't have a dedicated Teams reference guide.
Yeah, and I'll hand it back to you, Marla, to talk about some of those new assistance options we have for 2024.
Yeah, because we're super excited about these things. Okay, so new this year, we're offering organized application reviews. So this is the first time we've done this. And so this is meant to have a discussion to get direct feedback on an application before the due date. And that way, if there's time to make corrections, or sometimes we've looked at applications and say, hey, you're almost to platinum, do you want to look at that? So and in the past, this has been very kind of email heavy, and it can get confusing. So we're excited to have these application review time slots that we can work with the applicant and have that conversation, make everything clear, and they can go off and do the changes and then submit their final application. So what we're going to do is there'll be time slots. Now, they're not there quite yet, but there'll be time slots that will be available on the Green Lease Leaders homepage, and companies will be able to sign up for the time slots. Now, we've got two sort of chunks of time that we're doing these. There's going to be some time slots available before year end, because it's going to be like early November. And then the second time period will be in January. So you only get one, right? So it's not that you get to pick, two, you get one time, but we're given sort of two chunks of time to be able to find a slot. We really want to encourage people to apply early. And that's why we want to have, a time of windows to where we can do this application review early on. So it's not all last minute. All right, so you're going to sign up for a specific date and time slot for a phone call with, one of us on the team to go over your application. And we just do ask that the application is fully completed at least 48 hours or 2 business days before that. So we have adequate time, because we need to review it and give our feedback in advance. The other thing,
completed.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say completed as in submitted into the system too.
Yes, thank you for that clarification. Good point. We're also going to be doing office hours throughout the application cycle. So we really want to give the opportunity for companies to ask questions live. And that goes for supporting partners too. Like, you guys are welcome to come on in, especially like if you've heard questions. It's one company's questions are valuable to more than just that company. I mean, we get a lot of repeat questions, and it just, I mean, you all know, you've probably done office hours lots of times before, but it's just a way to have those conversations to help get everybody and a lot of people just on the same page and in an efficient way. So we're really looking forward to having the office hours time slots this year, so we can help more people again in a more efficient way, because we are expecting more applications this year. So their office hour time slots, they're already on the website. We would like for you to sign up. And again, it can be last minute. It's fine. It's like, oh, I want to ask that question. So, you can jump into the next office hours that you can do. And it's okay. You may not, you don't have to sit on for the entire time, but we really encourage people to use those office hours to get direct questions asked and answered. And again, so we can have that conversation to make sure everything's clear, and just think that that's going to be a much more efficient way than just lots and lots of emails for everybody.
Yeah, and if you are already having some questions right now and you've looked through the reference guide, feel free to join our October office hours. We're really hoping that we can just use that time to share effectively and then reduce all those emails and really enable you to ask a lot more questions than you might feel comfortable even asking through email.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes it can be a little tricky. And we do understand that there is some sensitivities around like specific lease language and that sort of thing. But I think that's okay. We can talk about like concepts, and you don't have to, give away any proprietary information. That's not what this is about. But having a live conversation to really talk through the situations that, again, will actually benefit everyone. So excited about that. All right. So this is another new thing. Again, we really want some people to apply early this year. Like, hey, can you even get your application in before year end? That would be amazing, right? If you get your recognition early, so if you do put your application in and it's finalized before year end, you will be able to actually, I'm going to use the word announce, but there's just a little caveat, but you're going to be able to announce your recognition earlier too. So now what do I mean by that? We've never done this before, and we do still have an embargo date for an official press release. So you won't be able to do your press release until we all do it together, right at the beginning of April or the end of March in relationship to the summit. But it is okay for you to go ahead and say, we're a 2024 Green Lease Leader Platinum in your quarterly reporting, in your ESG reports, in GRESB, or any reporting you're doing in Q1, you can go ahead and use it. And then we'll all do that press release, and then it'll all be public knowledge by Q2. But we do want to, again, I think it's kind of nice sometimes. There's a lot of reporting that starts to happen in Q1, and it'll be nice for you to go ahead and be able to get that into your reporting early. So motivation, hopefully, to get those applications in before year end. Okay, so now here's the application timeline. And again, for this group, I won't go into this in too much detail, but just to, again, you'll get this information when you get the slides. And this shows like when the office hours are, when deadline, there's an October 20th deadline to sign up for any of those application reviews time slots that we have before year end. And then November, we'll be doing the application review calls as well as some office hours. And then again, we'll start heading into January and February. And we probably should be like super clear. Number one, the portal is open. It's open. It opened this week. The portal is ready to go. And the portal closes on February 16th. So that's another key date. And another reason why we're like working hard to get things done early and to have these like resources for people to again, get their questions answered early is because we're not gonna take applications past February 16th. We need to get them all in, and it will close on February 16th, and then it will be strictly just the evaluation at that point. And then then followed by the recipients get notified in March, and then the early April summit, where we all celebrate 10 years of green leasing. Okay. That was a lot. Do we have any questions from anyone?
I don't see
Super
any
clear.
questions in the chat, but feel free to drop it below or reach out afterwards too.
Yes, Carson, the information in this webinar that we just went over, this back half about the updates to the portal will be the same information that will be given here in just a little bit on the next webinar. Yeah. If you want to hear it again, or if you're welcome to, but you don't have to. You've got all the information. All right. Excellent. Well, we look forward to working together and working with our supporting partners. And thank you so much for your time today. And reach out to us if you have additional questions. Thanks so much and have a great day.